Who's winning at Pebble Beach today?
Dustin Johnson will, but I don't know who is right now.
Can you tell us your best Paul Pierce story?
I can't tell you the best one, there's a lot of them, but when I look at Paul, I look at our first year a lot, when we had our ups and downs, and we had the big one where I took him out, and I think we lost the game, but I didn't put him back in, and about a week later he came into my office and we had this long talk, and it was more Paul saying he was ready, and for me, I'm not gonna ever say what was said. It was just a really nice. That for me will always be an emotional day, emotional meeting, because when a great player like Paul allows you to coach him as well, good things happen for all of us, and so that's my favorite stuff. Other than that, there's a lot of stories I can tell. My favorite basketball moment is the jump ball against Cleveland. I'm sure most people will think about scoring. But we won that game 7 because of a jump ball, a fundamental play, and Paul is the king of fundamentals, so that's my favorite play with him.
When you say the name Paul Pierce, what goes through your mind?
Oh, a lot. For me, more relationships, but from a fan standpoint, I would say this, in this day and time, you stayed, you think about it, no one sticks. Everyone wants to jump around and look for the team that they can, try to win with. And Paul could have done that. We were pretty bad for a stretch, and even before, and yet he stayed, and then it worked out for him. So I just think his loyalty to this organization and to his team, it was amazing.
This particular franchise, what do those numbers mean when you walk in and you look up, not only when you were here as an opposing player, but as a coach, just when you walk in and see that, so many numbers from Auerbach to Russell?
Yeah, I think, I guess maybe the Lakers, but other than that, and probably Montreal and hockey or somewhere, but there's no other place in sports where you would want your number retired. And as in basketball, I don't think there's any other place, if you could choose, where you would want your number retired, it would be with Boston, When you're in the practice facility, you see it every day, all those numbers, You see the banners and the numbers, and I think it means something. I think, like I said before I got here, I didn't realize, you always heard about the Celtic lore. You didn't get it because you wasn't in it. Then when you get in it and you see guys like Bill Russell come around and Havlicek and Tommy Heinsohn, who meant the most to me because, he was just very special for me. It's not about them. It really isn't. It's all about this being a Celtic. And there's no organization, I can tell you that. There's no other organization, maybe in sports, that has that type of loyalty. And it started with Red.
What about Chief last night made an interesting observation, saying that Paul is the best scorer in the history of the franchise. I mean, you played against Burke, you played with him.
Yeah.
How do you see
it'd be one of those two. I mean, it's not a deep argument, at least, Paul was a professional scorer. He really was. I joke a lot with Paul when I was coaching the Magic, and he had the one big game against us, and I went in the locker room and ripped my team because I was like, this guy is not fast, he's not athletic. I mean, and I actually called him overweight. I said, there's no way this guy should be scoring. And then when you coach him, you see that he is fast, he is athletic, but he beats you with his brain. He beats you with fundamentals and his footwork. So I would agree. I just think Paul, for one basket, Paul or Larry, but Paul to me was unstoppable. In his prime, he was as unguardable as there were.
Coach, he once said he's a baller. He said he's a baller.
Yeah, he's a baller. He just, he could play today. Like, he could play. He beats you with his brain. He didn't need his speed. He's just so darn smart on the floor. And from a coaching perspective, I mean, a lot of times you have to draw up plays. With Paul, you would come in and say, where do you want to shoot the ball? And he would tell you where. And that made me a lot smarter. It really did.
Doc, what about his intangibles?
That was the best part. I think what people forget about Paul is that he moved over to win. You know, a lot of players, and I say it all the time, say they want to win and all that stuff, and then they do until they have to give up part of their game. Paul was the happiest of everybody. When we got Kevin and Ray, he wanted to move over. He wanted to give room. And to me, that's the intangibles that I see with Paul. It's just his brain, his winning. He wanted to win, his drive, and his love for basketball. You know, that's why I call him the baller. Like, he loves playing. He went to our practices. He was playing one-on-one. He would play anybody one-on-one. You know, coaching my son, and Austin's best memory is when he was in grade school and high school playing one-on-ones against Paul. He thought he was playing one-on-one against Paul. You know, he didn't know Paul was playing. But you know, it's amazing. That's Paul.
Doc, why was it so important for you?
Oh, I love the guy. You know, listen, I got a ring, and I wanted more because Paul, Kevin, Ray, Rondo, Kurt, that whole group. And you know, I think Bill Parcells said it best: when you win something with someone, it's a blood transfusion. You're connected for life. And you know, Paul and I talk a lot, stay in contact a lot, and so do all of us. And this is a day that we actually talked about. You know, before we won the title, this is literally a day that we talked about as far as a whole team that was going to happen, and we all said we'd be there. So I'm here.
Not that he needed it, but how much did the championship do you think cement the legacy, maybe in his mind, just with the complete package?
I just think it always cements it. When you win a title, you become a made man. You know, and that made Paul. You know, like it. You know, he would have had this night regardless of winning the title, but winning the title makes this day pretty special. And as the Celtics do, I think it was very clever who they chose to play and do the retirement on. So for me, I'm going to have a ball. You know, I've never been to an NBA game in 30 years where I was sitting in the crowd. So I'm going to have a beer. I'm going to yell at the refs all game. And I may even boo LeBron a couple of times. It's going to be an absolute wonderful ball.
Yeah.
You expect?
Raised his game during the finals.
Well, I tell you, he raised his game during the finals. He raised his game in Game 7 against Cleveland. You know, people keep, you know, LeBron had a hell of a game. But Paul Pierce was amazing in that game. And, you know, you think about that whole run in those big games, the game in Detroit where we clinched that, you know, the game when we came back in L.A., that was Paul Pierce at his best. You know, he was so he was just confident, you know. But I think when you play as much as he played, you know, and, you know, if you're telling all the young guys now, you know, doing all the training and stuff, Paul Pierce just played basketball. Maybe we should all do that a little bit more.
Do you expect KG to be next?
I hope so. You know, he's a tough one. He definitely should be, but you know, it should be in Minnesota too. You know, so that will be the funnest one because he won't want to be there. You know, knowing Kevin, you know, he'll love the honor, but yeah, attention and Kevin don't go together. So that would be very interesting. I would actually really enjoy that.
Antoine said last night that he thought Paul was one of the best scorers, especially in the bigger games in the fourth quarter in NBA history. Do you agree with that?
I don't know that. I would say yes, just from coaching him. You know, he made a lot of big shots. But again, he kind of knew where he wanted it. He was so kind of, him and Larry in that way were very similar. You know, like Larry at the end of the games, you know, I played in that game where Larry, I don't know what he had, but it just felt like he had the 1,000 in the Game 7 against us in Atlanta. But Larry just felt like he knew where he was going. You knew where he was going. And he kept scoring. And that was Paul. I mean, you heard guys every night, you're not going to your right on the right elbow. And Paul would be like, we'll see. You know, and that's where he ended up. So, yeah.
Doc, you were talking earlier about just being a part of this organization. You really don't get it until you're here and part of it. How much of that did you have to learn after?
I knew already. You know, like when I decided to go, I knew what I was leaving. And I said it, actually. I said, I'll never have anything like this, because you don't have it. You appreciate it even more when you're away, which I knew it before I left. You know, like you leave this organization, you know you're leaving something special. The fan base, the whole thing. all of you guys. I mean, are you kidding me? No, really. But you don't get that anywhere in basketball. It may be in some other sports they have this, but this is different. It's always been different, and that's what makes it special. And you have to be a part of it to understand.
Do you regret leaving?
I regret leaving you. Yeah. No, I thought it was time for me. Like, I had a 9-year run, and I really believe you have your time. I'm just a believer in that. But do I miss it? Yeah, I've always missed it. I missed it from the day that I left. I missed it. You don't get this.
Case went on here Wednesday. Just give a preview.
Yeah, the preview game on Wednesday. All I know is the last time we played before All-Star break, both teams decided no defense. If you remember that game, I think it was like 150, and we were 1 and 2 in the league in defense. So let's hope that happens again. That'll be fun. Thanks, guys.
We'll ask you, buddy. We'll ask you